Yo guys, it's Sly if you ain't know, and welcome to the second installment of Sly Strategies, the series in which I share with you some of the unique sets that I have come up for certain Pokemon. Before we get into it, I did want to say this last time and I forgot. When I say that I have created these sets, I do mean that I came up with them myself and I didn't copy them from someone else. I'm not saying that I'm the only person to have come up with a certain set. I'm not saying that someone is copying off of me if they have the same set. I'm just saying that what I'm sharing with you is something that I've come up with independently of anyone else coming up with anything else. So if you do see a set that is similar to something else you've seen, just know that I didn't steal it from them. You're just going to have to trust me. But yeah, so this episode we're going to be talking about Avalugg. In my most recent RU battle, I know I used Avalugg, and I think I only got to use him once, and I don't think I explained him very well. So I'm going to take the time this time to explain to you guys more thoroughly this Avalugg set and how it's used, what it looks like, things like that. Really quick, right before we get into it, I do want to say that I have not really successfully tested the set. I think I've only had one really good like one time that this has really worked out. This is still a work in progress and something that can still be tinkered around with. However, I do still want to share with you the general idea of what the set is, and that way you guys can actually help me to perfect it, which would be really cool. So let's just hop right into it. Alright, so as you can see, there's a bunch of information on your screen, and we are going to break it down one piece at a time, but this is what the set is going to look like, and all of that good stuff. So let's start with the base stats just to kind of explain to you what kind of Pokemon Avalugg is, and he's pretty much what he looks like. He's got a HP of 95, attack of 117, and defense of 184. Those are the base stats. Those are the three most important ones because those are the ones that you would use. He is going to take physical hits for days. He's got incredibly high defense, and the 117 attack is definitely not too shabby at all. That's pretty good. The special attack and special defense are very lackluster. You're not going to really need the special attack, but the special defense is going to hurt you. If you get hit by a special hit, that's not good. So yeah, that's only 46, and then his speed is an atrocious 28. So we're going to have to work around that. But yeah, the main idea of this is to actually make it into a late game kind of fast sweeper. And how do you do that? Well, Avalugg has access to the move Rock Polish, and you can give it a weakness policy and to give it an increase of 2 stages across the board. So first we're going to go into the move pool, and the move pool is definitely something that can be tinkered around with. The ones on your screen are the ones that I used in the battle, like in my most recent battle, and the battles that I was testing off screen. The two moves that are necessary are Rock Polish and Recover. Well, I don't know if Recover is necessary. I would call it necessary. I would put Rock Polish and Recover on this set, as well as Ice Fang. Avalugg has access to pretty much 2 physical Ice-type moves, and that's Ice Fang and Avalanche. Because Avalugg is so slow and is probably going to get hit with a move first, Avalanche is usually the choice move here. But because the whole point is to make Avalugg more of a fast attacker by using the Rock Polish, we're going to give it Ice Fang because we want to attack first, which means Ice Fang is actually going to do a little bit more damage, as well as have a chance for a flinch and a freeze, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the fourth move, I had Stone Edge. However, there are some different things that you can do. So the moveset I had was Rock Polish, Recover, Ice Fang, Stone Edge, but I do want to give you guys some ideas as far as other moves that it can learn that could be helpful. It can learn Earthquake. It can learn the TM for Earthquake. So that is something that you could definitely replace Stone Edge with to counter fire types to be a little bit more reliable. And as long as they're not holding an air balloon, you should be good, because you're probably not going to encounter any other flying or any Ice Fang is going to take care of flying types, and you're not going to see fire flying types like Charizard or Moltres probably when you use an Avalugg, because Avalugg is RU. So yeah, just the different types of Pokemon you'll see. I should point out this is an RU Pokemon, so an RU set, for that. This is not meant to be taken up to Ubers or anything. Yeah, so some other ideas for moves are Rock Tomb, which is another rock move you can do, which has a chance to lower the opponent's speed, which is really good since you're trying to be faster. And it can also learn Crunch, which is just a good base power of 80. It could be a good coverage move. Work with that as you will. But like I said, the 4 on the screen are the 4 that I used. So that's it for the move pool. The ability is Sturdy, just because that's pretty much the only one that helps. It gets Own Tempo, which prevents it from confusion, and Ice Body, which I don't remember what that does. I think it has something to do with if it's hailing, something happens. It doesn't really come in handy. So Sturdy is really what you want, especially so you can set up a rock polish regardless on who the opponent is, and to make sure that you can definitely get hit with a super effective move. Which brings us to the held item, which is the weakness policy. Weakness policy, obviously, if you get hit by a super effective move, it increases your attack and special attack by 2 stages. We only really care about the physical attack getting increased. But in order to do that, we have to get hit by a super effective move. And thankfully, usually you wouldn't say this, but Avalugg is an ice type, and ice type has a lot of weaknesses. It is weak to fighting, and fire, and ground, and rock. There might be another one that I'm missing, but there are plenty of opportunities for you to get hit by a super effective move. Because Avalugg has a massive physical defense, it's going to be able to live it from the physical side, and because of Sturdy, you should be able to live a special hit if you are at 100% HP. That way the Sturdy doesn't break. So so like I said, the goal is to get hit by a super effective move, use Rock Polish on the same turn, and then be able to outspeed and hit some damage back. And also, and then the EV spread. The EV spread is something that I have still been kind of tinkering with and working on, as well as the nature. I have the nature as Adamant. You could also try Jolly to just increase the speed even more. But Adamant seems to be okay, and if you max it in attack and speed, and put the remaining 4 in HP, it seems to do okay. There's probably a way you can split some of the EVs into defense to give it a little bit more bulk, but I don't know. And you can't take too many EVs away from speed, otherwise even after a Rock Polish you're still not going to outspeed some things. So I think max speed is important. Max attack, since you're not having any way to increase your attack stage, having max attack and Adamant is pretty good. So, but tinker around with that as you wish, and let me know what works for you and what doesn't. That is pretty much a good summary as to how what this Avalugg set looks like. So I'm going to move on to the section where I tell you specifically how to use it, which I've pretty much already gone over, but I'm going to go into it just a little bit more depth. Alright, so the first thing to keep in mind about Avalugg is that you don't want to play it too early. You don't want to send it out too early in the match. It's not an early game Pokemon. This is something that you want to save for later in the match and later in the game. So, when working around an Avalugg, the first 2 things that you should really be worrying about, or should try and prevent, I should say, is 1, you should be preventing any sort of Stealth Rocks or Toxic, any sort of hazards. You want to try and prevent them from getting up on the field, and if they do get up on the field, you should try and have something else that has Defog or Rapid Spin. Avalugg does have access to Rapid Spin, however, it doesn't really work well with this set because you want this Avalugg to be at full health when you send it in. So you should try and prevent hazards, or get rid of them before you send in an Avalugg, and try and get rid of the Pokemon that are going to pose a threat to Avalugg late game. So you want to get rid of anything that's really physically bulky and has access to recover moves, and you want to get rid of anything that's going to outspeed Avalugg after it has his Rock Polish boost, which is pretty much going to be anything that's like Choice Scarfed and whatnot. So you want to get those things out of the way. When you bring in an Avalugg, be careful when you do it. You don't want to bring it in on a super effective hit, and you really don't want to bring it in to where it's going to take a lot of damage at all. If you can predict properly, you can predict that the opponent is going to do a non-attacking move, or if you can predict a switch out and double switch into Avalugg, that's a good time to do it. Or if one of your Pokemon die, sending an Avalugg after that is pretty good to do as well. After you get Avalugg in, pretty much the goal is to have the weakness policy activate on the same turn that you use Rock Polish. You want to get the +2 attack and the +2 speed on the same turn. If you are going against a physical hitter, a physical attacker, you're going to live the hit, no problem. And if it's super effective, it's going to be even better. Pretty sure every physical attack that's going to do super effective damage shouldn't really do much more than half. So you should be all set. And if it's a special attacker that you're going up against, that's why you want the sturdy, because Avalugg's special defense isn't that great. So, you know, a nice flamethrower or fire blast could very, very easily take out an Avalugg, which is why you want the sturdy, so you can activate the weakness policy and then outspeed the next turn. However, if you do that, you want to make sure that you're watching out for priority moves. You don't want your opponent to have priority moves. So I would say turn one, or I'm sorry, I guess turn one after you get the Avalugg in, make sure that your opponent is going to use a super effective move. If your opponent has a Pokemon that never runs like super effective moves, it's probably not the best time to bring in an Avalugg, and you probably might want to switch it out and try again later. You're not going to have too many opportunities to try and do this, so timing is everything. Timing is key, and your prediction game has to be spot on. But the first turn, you want to use Rock Polish and get hit by a super effective move. Once you do that, you're going to be +2 attack and +2 speed. After that, you can do one of two things. Depending on how much damage you took, recover could be an option, as well as just straight up attacking. Since you have the Rock Polish boost now, you should be able to outspeed whatever just attacked you. If you can take it out in one hit, take it out in one hit. If you think they're going to switch out, maybe it didn't do that much damage and you think they're going to try with something else, go ahead and go for the recover, because then you can put yourself back up to 100%, keep the sturdy on in case they do bring out something that can do some damage to you, and then if they don't have a priority move or a choice scarf or something, then you'll be able to get 2 hits off of whatever comes in case you can't one hit KO it. So yeah, so Avalugg is a good late game sweeper, because if you have played correctly and gotten rid of the threats that are going to get in Avalugg's way, by the time you bring in the Avalugg and get the Rock Polish weakness policy boost, you should be able to finish up and sweep the rest of your opponent's team. That is the goal, and that is pretty much how you use Avalugg. You use it as a late game sweeper to finish off the rest of your opponent's team in a bit more of a creative way, I think. I think this is a little fun thing, the Rock Polish weakness policy thing. So yeah, that is pretty much how to use Avalugg. So yeah. Which brings us to the most important part, which is that it is now your turn. It is your turn to test the set out for yourself, and let me know how it goes. Feel free to use the set that I gave you and try it just for that, and feel free to take the set and make it your own. I did give you some options as far as other moves you can try, and feel free to mess around with the EV spread, because I'm sure that what I have is not perfect. But let me know how the set has worked out for you, and if you found a better way to use the set, or if you found a better way to use Avalugg in general. Also, are there any Pokemon sets that you've created that you would like to share, that you're really proud of? I would love to hear some of the sets that you've come up with, because I just love seeing different sets and things that aren't always the same thing. But until next time, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you like the series, let me know. If you want this to continue, this could be a short-lived series. This could go on for pretty much ever. It's pretty much all up to you guys. So you let me know how you enjoy. Feel free to hit the like button if you did like the video. And until next time, guys, keep your heads high and your strategies sly. I'm out.